homework for Chapter 8 involves doing pretty much the same thing that you had technology do with 10,000 samples. You're going to try it with 40 and see if it works on these types of numbers that we have here. You'll notice only the numbers 1 through 5. What you need to do is create a frequency distribution. You're going to construct a frequency distribution using these numbers. So you'll have what we call a dot plot using 1 through 5. And I missed 4, there'll be 5. So if I put a 1, I put an X here. If I have a 3, I put an X here, or you can make dots. Additionally, you'll need to find mu, because this whole thing is my population. We're calling it mu. You need to find the mean of all of those numbers. You're going to add them up and divide by how many numbers there are. The next thing you do is you're going to try to find some samples. And you're going to do this using a random number generator. If you have a TI calculator, I have instructions for that, or I also have this random number generator link in Chapter 8. So what you're asked to do is to take a sample of size 2 of the numbers between 1 and 5. So I'm going to generate basically 2 numbers between 1 and 5, and I'm just going to put it in one column. So here are my first numbers, 5 and 2. So my sample is 5 and 2, so I'm putting that on my document here. And I'm asked to calculate X bar because it's a sample. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Does that match my mu of my population or not? You're going to be asked to repeat that again. Then you're going to do an entire group of 20 of these. So if I go back to my generator, I'm going to go back and I'm going to generate, so let's see, 20 pairs of 2. So I'm going to generate 40 numbers between 1 and 5, and I'm going to do it in columns of 2 so my numbers pair up. So I'm going to get my numbers, and there's my columns. So the first one is 2, 3. So on my paper, I'm just going to go 2 and 3 were my numbers. So I'm going to record them. My observations were 2 and 3. The mean is I'm going to add them up. 5, half of 5 is 2.5. You're going to do all 20 numbers. You're going to compute the average of the 20 numbers, and then ask some questions, answer some questions about the mean of the population. You're going to repeat for a second time, but notice you'll get all 20 again, and you just go through and add them and divide by 2. You are again going to find the average of these 20, and then finally you're going to find the average of all 40. You're expected to use a calculator. And then number 16 is the mean of all 40, the standard deviation of all 40, and notice this is just like your homework assignment that you had in Chapter 6, assessing normality. You're going to see, does it match that 68%? According to the big idea when the computer did it, it did match. We're trying to see, well, match if my population, if I actually know my population, and then you're going to compare it to the empirical rule. So those are the 2 assignments for Chapter 8 that you need to have done by Friday. Reach out if you have questions.